Alright, what's going on, everybody? Give me 1 second to set up my charts. This video I'm going to be going over a couple setups that I'm watching for the rest of the week. We're going to start with Mama Market, ES. So, as you guys know, the market that we've been in, being near these yearly lows, we're seeing a lot of volatility. We're seeing a lot of these swings in either direction, big swings. So, for instance, last week, we made a nice choppy recovery back above the 21 MA, and the week before, we saw the dump under, and then the week before we saw a huge push back above the 21 MA. So we should all be fairly used to this market so far. A lot of choppy price action, but more importantly, a lot of volatility and big swings in either direction. And so what I'm looking for right now is pre-market today, and during some of the action after the opening bell today, we saw a lot of price action under the 21 MA. And like I said, pre-market, we're starting to crack under, and we're starting to crack under my 15-minute level right here. Let me extend that drawing right there. And so being under the 21 MA and this entire major liquidity zone with the 21 MA and our POC level, I'm looking for us to retest some of these yearly lows. That would be a great move to the downside that I think we can catch not only on ES or SPX, but also I'm looking for a few setups to the downside on some other names that we're going to take a look at. But ES being the market, let's take a look at what we can trade moving forward. So first trade that's going to play out for us if we do continue to move lower is this classic 3,800 dump. We got it a couple times last week. That provided some nice trading opportunities as we get those closes under and we make a nice push down to this second level we have below. And that's exactly what I expect moving forward. Now, we are just starting to crack this 21 MA after trying to hold it for a little bit. So, and like I said, we are in a slightly choppy market. We're seeing these big swings, but they're not coming with so much momentum. Instead, it's more of a grind up and grind downs. So that's what I'm expecting. I am expecting some chop this week before we actually crack this level. But I'll be waiting. I'm going to wait to see if these squeezes are going to get tighter. Let's take a look at them. So for instance, this 30-minute, as we're starting to break down this 21 MA, of course the 30-minute is wide. We did break down a squeeze pre-market today. So I'm going to be looking for this to set up more moving forward. Maybe tomorrow we can get a nice 30-minute squeeze, a 1-hour squeeze as well. That way we can have some extra momentum after we break it to the downside and break this level to send us further down. So being in the middle of this 15-minute and this 30-minute level right here, being in the middle of this zone, this is a no man's land for me. So as long as we remain in here, I'm not going to be taking any trades. Instead, I'd love to see it set up, get tighter, chop around for a bit, and then we see the dump under this. Now breaking this 3,800, being a 30-minute level, the first thing I'm going to look for is, of course, are we breaking a squeeze? Is it a 30-minute squeeze, a 1-hour squeeze? I love squeezes that are aligning to the level that I'm trying to trade the name off of. So like I said, I'm going to love if we can get a 30-minute squeeze, break that down first, then get a 30-minute close under here, and that would provide a nice put opportunity for me to take all the way down to the next theory level, which I have, or a nice psychological level, first off, being this 3750. So a potential 50-point dump incoming for ES if we are going to creep lower. Which has been the trend, creeping upwards and creeping downwards in this market near these year lows. If we do start, breaking down more, we have these 15-minute levels below. I love 15-minute levels as we get to like yearly lows or lows on major daily legs in the market, because they provide, generally at these lows, we see a lot of momentum to the downside if we are making a nice breakdown. And so 15-minute levels are a great way to actually catch that momentum. You're not waiting for a 30-minute or a 1-hour close under. Instead, we're playing on a shorter time frame. We're playing on the 15-minute. So all we're looking for, if we are breaking down some squeezes, maybe everything's breaking down support, all we're looking for is just a 15-minute close under one of these to get a nice trading opportunity and risking a 15-minute close back above. So first trade opportunity, this is 30-minute level that we're going to be approaching. Got a feeling we're going to break it this week. We'll see what happens. Not taking any trades in the middle of this. If we do start cracking higher and we do get above the 21, we'll look for plays to the upside then. But at the moment, we're holding under the mean, and all eyes right now are looking short if we're going to see some momentum to this downside. Let's take a look at what I'm looking at for these bigger time frame ES trades. So this is the setup I'm looking at. We have this nice flag pattern that's playing out fairly well, rejecting the top. This also aligns with that 21. We're rejecting that 21, going lower, and we could potentially start cracking the bottom of this flag, and we can go lower. Now these other red levels are my daily theory levels. So once again, these are all playing out fairly well. We're holding under this top one. If we can get a close under the second one, this 38 to 23 level, that would be a great opportunity to go short, maybe for some SPY 1 to 2 week out puts, and look to retest the low of year all the way down here. Potentially great trade because we're also breaking the flag, like I said, and not only that, but great timing too, because check out this daily squeeze. After all of this choppy price action here, all this volatility, we weren't in a squeeze the entire time on a daily chart. More recently, we've started getting into a black squeeze, and now we're approaching the red squeeze with some momentum to the upside. And if we get a close under this level on the daily chart, this upside momentum, very slight momentum, can turn red, and we can potentially break down this daily squeeze to the downside, get under the lows and break all the way down, to 3,500, for example. And that's why we'd grab those 1 to 2 week out SPX puts, because we're playing on such a major time frame, such a major squeeze, and such a major pattern setup. That's what I'm looking for. Yes, let's take a look at NVIDIA. Alright, pretty messy, but we're going to zoom into where we are. So this is a bit cleaner. Let's actually go down to the 30-minute chart. Alright, so this is what I'm looking at for NVIDIA. Basically the same setup as ES. We made a nice bottom, and then last week we got all the way to the 21 MA, and today we're starting to reject it, and we're holding right here at this POC level, and we have a very clean 30-minute level underneath, right? Basically at this psychological 150 level. So not only that, we're squeezing, and I love this pre-market squeeze action that we're getting. And with ES losing some support in this pre-market, we can potentially expect NVIDIA is going to actually hold under this 150 level tomorrow, Tuesday morning, before open. And that could potentially allow us to go short right at open if we're holding directly under this level, and we can risk a close back above, looking to target all the way down here, 145, nice psychological level. Very clean setup. I love the squeeze, something that we didn't get in ES yet. We'll see how it plays out at open, because we do know that ES is losing some support right now. So like I said, this could easily be holding under this level, which would provide a nice opportunity. If we are holding above it going into open, I'm not going to look to go long right away. Instead, because ES and NVIDIA are losing the 21 MA, I'm going to wait till ES shows some weakness and NVIDIA follows, and we get a close under here, and once again, nice short opportunity all the way down to 145. Very simple setup on NVIDIA. Let's take a look at NVIDIA's daily levels and daily setups. So let's zoom out. This is what I'm watching on NVIDIA. Once again, a very clean chart. I don't like to get too messy with these big time frame setups and levels. So we have this trend line that's been acting fairly well for the past year or so. Was showing nice resistance here before we finally cracked above it. Nice support right here. Resistance, 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 now support. Very clean setup, and it's going lower. So what I'm looking for on NVIDIA is if we get, let's actually quickly switch to those other time frames. If we get the close under here and we make a break down to 145, we're going to be closing under this daily level. And this, once again, like ES, would provide a nice short opportunity on a bigger time frame scale. And once again, like that ES chart, we're squeezing. We're starting to squeeze after a long time of chopping in that volatility we've been getting. And so once again, we're trending down still. We can get the close under. We can potentially break this daily squeeze, grab some 1 to 2 week out NVIDIA puts, look to break this low of year, first target obviously, and then potentially, if it's such a major dump with ES, with the squeezes all showing some momentum to the downside, we could break to the other side of this trend line and get into some really panicky momentum. And we can really start to crater on NVIDIA, potentially get down to 100. I know it's a lot, seems like a lot to ask for NVIDIA, but we're technically in a market crash right now, and if we're going to get anything even slightly similar to the 2020 COVID crash, we haven't seen anything like that yet. And I'd love to see some sort of panicky selling out of ES and some of these other names. And what would provide that sort of opportunity? Something like this, where we're squeezing, we have a nice daily level, we have a major pattern with this trend line that we can get under and break these year of lows. All of these lining up. If we get this opportunity, it's going to be an opportunity that 10 out of 10 times I'm going to be placing risk on. Because the potential reward, if we do truly break this down, truly break that year of low, that low of year down, truly break under this trend line, the potential reward for risking 1 to 2 closes back above this is so much greater than that little risk. So that's my NVIDIA setup. Let's take a look at the last name, which is going to be Tesla. Let's switch over the time frame. Let's take a look at Tesla. Alright, Tesla. All these setups are going to look fairly similar. Tesla's 21 EMA is a bit lower than ES and NVIDIA's in relation to each other. Looks like today we're just starting to crack under pre-market. If ES is truly going lower, it looks like Tesla's squeezing here, but we're probably going to open a bit lower, potentially under this 15-minute level. And if we hold, close to this 15-minute level, I'd love to get into some puts, and like to target that 650, that next psychological level. We've seen this zone act as a very choppy consolidation zone last week on Tesla. So all of this choppy price action with that push above and this nice quick dump on this Monday, we got a lot of longs trapped. And if we start cracking back into this consolidation zone, we can quickly see some selling all the way through it. I don't think market makers want to remain this choppy in this zone, especially if ES and names like NVIDIA are also dumping, daily levels. They're dumping their 21 MA. We're seeing a lot of squeezes break to the downside. I'd love to see Tesla, squeeze up for tomorrow morning And then if we start getting some closes under this 15-minute level, let's try to take it lower, and let's try to take it all the way down, whether it happens in a day or by the end of the week. Let's try to take it all the way down to this 630 level. A simple risk is maybe even a daily close back above this 21 MA. That would provide a nice alert for us that market makers aren't quite ready yet. And it would also show up in that ES and that NVIDIA daily chart if we get a close back above this 21 MA. Those daily charts won't be setting up to that downside setup that we were looking at. We wouldn't be getting that daily close under. Once all these charts and all these stars are slowly starting to align for a big downside move, we just have to get that confirmation, and that's going to come from these closes. Are we closing above this 15? Are we holding under, and are we pushing under? Are we holding under this ES daily level, and are we getting that close under? And that would also let us break down this trend line, and we would see some momentum to the downside. Is that going to happen? We could potentially bounce from here. We could easily bounce from here without a short opportunity. And so I'm not shorting futures right now, looking to preemptively catch a move to the downside that I'm not sure is happening yet. But all the stars are slowly starting to align, and that starts with these daily squeezes that we've been getting. ES, NVIDIA, they're all starting to squeeze up, and momentum is slowly starting to shift to the downside. Now if we can get these closes under, we can get some confirmation and we can get some short opportunities. So that's what I'm looking at Tesla for. Let's check out Tesla's daily levels. So I just have one daily level, and we have this nice flag pattern that's been setting up. We rejected the top today, and today is playing very well with this daily level. We got the close back under. We had one close above, still very clean that we got one under. Now if we get another close under, we can get in early to this flag breakdown that we're potentially going to get. If tomorrow we get a close around this area right here on the daily chart, we can enter next week or 2 week out puts, risking a push back above. And then we're getting in early, because if we do start moving down, you can imagine a lot of retail traders are going to wait till we start cracking this before they get short on these major time frame 1-2 week out puts. And so we'd be way ahead of the curve if we get short around this area, predicting such a move with a nice risk right above. Alright, those are the setups I'm looking for, that I'm looking forward to this coming week. This week, we already had Monday. Tomorrow's Tuesday. Hope you guys enjoyed. Yeah, it's pretty late here, so I'm going to get ready to go to bed. We'll talk to you guys tomorrow. If you're in my group, I'm going to go live with you guys. Love you all.